A client recently told me, I planned for 30 years of expenses, but 0 years of purpose. And she's not alone. According to the National Bureau of Economic Research, more than 1 in 3 retirees say they wish they had waited longer to retire. But it's not about money. It's about meaning. So today, I'm going to break it all down. First, I'm going to share exactly why the retire as early as possible movement is quietly backfiring for so many people. And then I'm going to walk you through my 5-step bridge framework to help you retire successfully with purpose, not regret. Welcome to another episode of the Stay Wealthy Retirement Show. I'm your host, Taylor Schulte, and every week I tackle the most important financial topics to help you stay wealthy in retirement. And now, on to the episode. Early retirement sounds like freedom. No more commutes, no more meetings, no more deadlines. But that freedom often comes with an unexpected price tag, leading many people to wonder if they just made a big mistake. As I just mentioned, more than 1 in 3 retirees wish they had waited longer to retire, 37% to be exact. And here's the kicker. Early retirement regrets don't typically get better with time. They compound. It turns out no amount of spreadsheets, simulations, or clever withdrawal strategies can prepare you for the emotional challenges retirement can create. A family friend recently said something that stuck with me. She said, retirement gave me everything that I wanted except direction. And she's not the only one faced with that challenge. In fact, one academic study found that nearly 50% of retirees experience some form of identity crisis during their transition. There's also the mental challenge of second-guessing the retirement decision itself. What once felt like freedom can, over time, trigger doubt. Was this the right decision? Did I retire too early? Should I have handled this major life decision differently? That doubt leads many retirees to reflect on lost opportunities, not necessarily for financial gain, but for the sense of fulfillment their jobs brought. As you can likely relate to, work often gives people a way to measure progress and validate their contributions, and without it, they're left questioning where their efforts should go. Now that we understand the hidden emotional and psychological costs of early retirement, let's take a look at the main problem when it comes to retirement beliefs. And first, let me be extra clear. Early retirement does not always lead to an unfulfilling experience. But when people don't know what they're retiring to, they either jump too soon and end up feeling aimless, or they delay retirement indefinitely, hoping the answer will somehow just show up. In reality, it rarely does. I recently caught up with a client who was faced with this very dilemma when she hired me, and I asked her about that time period. She said, I remember telling myself that I needed to save more money, but really, looking back on it, I just didn't know what I would do with my time. It felt easier to keep working than to face that. The technical term for this is the 1 more year syndrome. Some like to joke about it as if delaying retirement is always about irrational fears or perfectionism. But for many people, it's actually a signal that something important is missing. And usually that something is clarity. But clarity is not found overnight. It can take time to find, which is why many early retirement seekers really just need a shift or a change, not a complete stop. Sam Dogan, a well-known early retirement author, said, quote, if I had stayed 1 more year, I would have pursued a new role in another office. That might have rejuvenated my whole relationship with work. Alternative career paths, ones with better culture, more flexibility, or deeper meaning, are often what people are searching for all along. But when you frame retirement as the only option, you miss those opportunities. And when you leave without clarity or purpose, even a perfectly executed financial plan cannot protect you from feeling lost, because financial security is just one piece of the puzzle. The rest? That's who you are when the job title disappears. Recognizing how deeply retirement regrets can impact even the most successful retirees, it's worth asking, what does a better approach actually look like? And how can you start building it intentionally before it's too late? Before I share what I think is a better approach, just a quick reminder that this is exactly what my team and I do every single day. So if you want help applying these ideas to your own retirement planning, just click the link in the episode description right there in your podcast app to book a free discovery call with us. So if retiring without purpose leads to regret, what does a great retirement actually look like? It looks like confidence, direction, energy, not just freedom, because the goal isn't to retire as early as possible. It's to retire into a life that's actually worth living. And that starts with knowing what you want from this next chapter, not just financially, but emotionally, socially, and personally. In fact, studies show that the most fulfilled retirees are not the ones with the biggest portfolios. They're the ones who have built lives filled with purpose, structure, and intention long before their final day of work. They didn't wait until retirement to figure it out. They took baby steps and made small, meaningful commitments that helped them successfully make this major life transition. Let me give you a few real examples. A physician I worked with started mentoring young professionals once a week before she retired. A neighbor of mine turned his woodworking hobby into a side business 2 years before leaving his role at Qualcomm. An engineer couple we've done a lot of tax planning work for blocked time every month a few years before retirement to volunteer at their local animal shelter. These are not retirement fantasies. They're what we call purpose in progress. And when you combine that kind of purpose clarity with financial stability, the impact can be massive. Stress drops, confidence rises, and decisions about when to retire, how much to spend in retirement, and what to do next become much easier because you're not just financially ready, you are life ready. And I know what you're probably thinking right now, Taylor, this all sounds great, but how do I exactly take action here? What steps do I actually take to avoid joining this generation of regretful retirees? You build a bridge. No, not a metaphorical one. I'm talking about a real, structured, purpose-driven transition from work to retirement. I call this the bridge strategy, and I broke it into 5 simple steps for you. Here's exactly how it works. Step 1, identify your pillars. Start with clarity on your values, your interests, and your vision for retirement. What excites you? What gives you a sense of identity outside of work? Who do you want to spend your time with and how? And financially, how much of your lifestyle is already covered by guaranteed income or a withdrawal strategy? How much flexibility does your plan really have? When you combine self-reflection with financial confidence, you give yourself space to start designing a life with purpose. Step number 2, explore bridge candidates. This is where you begin exploring possibilities. These could be paid or unpaid. Teaching, coaching, volunteering, creating, mentoring. My father-in-law, for example, went through training to become a volunteer at the San Diego Wild Animal Park. He gets joy, structure, and social connection without needing to stay in the workforce. And yes, some bridges can generate income, but ask yourself, do you need that income or do you just want the activity? Step number 3, test and tinker. And here's where things get real. You start testing. Choose 1 or 2 bridge ideas. Commit 5 to 10 hours a month. And while you're still working, pay attention. Are you energized, drained, excited to keep going? You'll use this time to stress test your finances as well. How healthy is your plan? If you scale back at work, could your portfolio support the difference? Would this open the door for strategic Roth conversions or other tax planning opportunities? Step number 4, strengthen and structure. Once you've found a bridge that clicks, reinforce it. Build a schedule, create accountability, and perhaps, most importantly, join a community of people who share your purpose. This is also when you begin coordinating the financial pieces: health insurance before Medicare, Social Security timing, portfolio income strategies, and risk management. In this step, you're building emotional and financial readiness in parallel. Finally, step number 5, cross the bridge with confidence. This is the payoff. Retirement should no longer feel like a leap. It should feel like a natural next step. You'll know you're ready when you've tested your bridges in real life. You know what a fulfilling week looks like. You've replaced the structure, connection, and purpose that your job once provided. And your financial plan supports the life that you're moving into. You've removed the guesswork, you've softened the identity shift, and you've built your unique version of retirement that's grounded in clarity, purpose, and peace of mind. Because this is not just about stopping work, it's about starting something better. Thank you very much for listening. And once again, to view the research and articles supporting today's episode, just head over to youstaywealthy.com/244.
This podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only and should not be relied upon as a basis for investment decisions. This podcast is not engaged in rendering legal, financial, or other professional services.